in the right direction. It takes thinking, right? I mean, we think, we have thoughts. So we need to lead those thoughts in the right direction. We need to leave our heart in the right direction.
That's a taste of leadership lessons. Courage, humility, and a little fun. Part 1. This week's episode of The Wise Guys, a podcast that unleashes the unthinkable in culture, religion, and everyday life. In this conversation, the guys share some holistic leadership perspectives that can help us navigate leadership challenges. So, strap in, shatter the norm, and see if you are willing to let Mac, the Rev, and Coach Stu take you to a place of thinking differently.
Welcome to The Wise Guys, a podcast where we unleash the unthinkable and shatter the norms to help you expand your worldview and ours too. All right, it's not just you. Hopefully, this will help us do it just a little bit better. Isn't that, don't we say that all the time, guys?
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, that's just a really good little ism.
That's why I hang out with you guys, to expand my mind, my thoughts, and to learn something different. You guys are great teachers.
Boom. Well, you sure? Yeah, you've shattered me a bit, Rev. Believe me, over the time I've known you. She goes, don't short sell yourself. That's for sure. All right, so welcome to our episode. I'm Mac, and I'm the host. And in this episode, we're going to discuss leadership. I mean, I'm not even going to get cute about it, right? Just leadership. And, all three of us, we got the wise guys here, and you could add up decades worth of leadership in all sorts of different ways from these guys, from all three of us. And the one thing that I know about these guys and that I know about myself is that that's a never ending. I mean, nobody's arrived. Okay. We're all constantly learning how to do it a little bit better. So we definitely want to just share some of our, ideas and thoughts and experience, but don't get the idea that we got this thing all wrapped up.
I have led myself astray more times than I have fingers on my hand.
Yeah. We didn't put that bullet point down.
That's right.
A leadership quality, astray. Okay.
I need a hook for myself some days.
That's awesome. So I got my guys. Here we are. The three of us. Coach Stu's back with us, man.
Hey, guys. I'm so glad to be back at the table.
How was the beach?
I like this better. The beach was amazing. It's better to be here physically with you.
Well, the Stu's in the round tonight with us. Yeah. And then we got the Rev, man.
I'm here, Mac. And I love being in your home and
loving it, brother.
Swapping ideas.
And you know what? We're real people here, gang, right? We're not AI, we're not bots, we're not robots. And
on most days,
and the Rev, had something just share what happened today. Okay.
I don't know if I'm at liberty. My family's going through, don't you talk about, my wife is going through something I'm not at liberty to talk about.
No, that's all right.
But I tell you, if no robot or AI could do this journey better than she's done it. She's strong, she's courageous, she's a leader of her own experience. And, she had surgery today, and I'm just blown away. I'm so blessed to be hanging out with people like that.
Yeah. Well, you're not just hanging out with her, man. You said yes to her.
You're living life. She's a leader in my household and the leader of my thoughts.
Well, see, this is where we're going with this tonight, okay? Because when we said the word leadership, when I said the word leadership, I'm sure a certain thing came to everybody's mind that's listening. Whatever, you lead, you have a boss, you've seen other kinds of leadership, good, bad, otherwise, all right? And those are all true. Those are characteristics that we are going to talk about today. But there's also the inner. There's also your ability to be able to lead you, and we're going to flesh that out a little bit too.
Yeah,
right?
That's good.
That's going to be kind of fun, isn't it?
That sounds good. Hey, I know we have words to the wise, but before we go there, let me say hello to all of you beautiful exotic cocktails out there. And a special shout out to Mrs. Rev. I'm not going to say
I'll appreciate
her name, but yeah. She is a very exotic cocktail. You all would be better knowing her in your life, all of you out there.
Yeah. I mean, and I will say this as a wise guy.
I'm on thin ice. I'm going to keep my mouth shut about any commentary.
Well, I said this earlier in a text that week because we were going back and forth. I said, you know what? And I can say this from my experience. you women most of the time are a hell of a lot tougher than we are.
Yeah, way tougher, way stronger.
Oh man, we're just wimps when it comes to certain stuff. And
I think I'd be bold enough to say that the three of us sitting here, that we are better men as a result of the people that we are married to.
This is the truth.
Absolute truth.
There's no doubt.
Here.
No doubt. Yeah. Oh gosh. We all married up, man.
I resemble that remark.
Yeah. They're awesome for sure. So yes, I'll join in with Coach Stu's greetings to everyone. Again, I think this is going to be a really cool episode because I think all of you out there experience leadership in one way or another in your life. So this isn't going to be foreign to you as far as the concept goes, all right? But we're going to talk about courageous leadership. And that might take a little bit different tone, if you will. What does it take to lead courageously? Right? So that's going to be pretty cool. All right. So words to the wise, here we are.
Bring it on.
Here it is. It is not the task of spirituality to provide easy answers to every question, but to make us progressively aware of a mystery. Isn't that beautiful? Huh?
Yeah. I love it.
I love the idea that, my spirituality anyway, and it's worked for me is, I'm seeking answers to my questions. But in order to be fulfilling, I also have to question my answers.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
And I think when I do that mystery, you live in that mystery, and it's like, wow, it's way more than I ever thought.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, this one invites me and invites us to live with the questions, as you're saying, Rev, right? And explore them and like to see meaning in the journey instead of focusing on the destination or the answer, right? If you look at destination, like the answer is being like the destination.
Right.
It's kind of how I see it. So this is about just being on the journey.
And I think that makes an incredible leader. It's a Socratic method. Just ask better questions.
Yeah.
Right.
Rather than having all the answers.
And be okay with the mystery.
Yes.
Life is full of mystery. And the minute we try to take the 10 bullet points of a good leadership that we heard in the seminar and they become the end all to end all. I'm not saying there's not some good points that you've learned along the way, but when that becomes the definitive way to lead, you've left the mystery out for the most part, and it has to be quantified all the time. And usually that makes it linear.
Yeah.
And the minute it goes linear, oh my goodness. Okay. You've missed the holistic round, nature of it all when it's all linear. So
I think I'm a better leader because of the moments where I got to the edge of my 10 tools that I've used and I can't use any of these tools now.
Right.
That's when I'm being stretched to be a better leader and a better follower, a better human being.
Yeah. Better listener. Yeah. And what I'm talking about now is listening to that voice right within you, right?
Yeah.
So learning that for sure. So really cool. I thought that was a really cool little saying. It struck me when I first read it, and I thought it would be great to share with our listeners as well. So there you go. Words to the wise. So let's jump in to courageous leadership, because we're going to put that in front of leadership, courageous. And that gives it a little bit of a different framework.
Hoorah!
Yeah. When I first thought about that, courage, right? It kind of reminded me of Washington standing the boat crossing the Delaware.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why that came to my mind, but it just did. But here's a few questions. Here's the things that we can chew on a little bit. First of all, courage to lead. And, I hear this question frequently, not all the time, right? But are leaders born or are they made?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Yes, both.
Yes. A lot of times I hear people say, well, nobody's really born a leader. I mean, you got to learn this and all this other kind of stuff. I mean, it's a process, and you might have a personality that's, but, leading is a skill that's developed, and I know. I mean, I don't know about a whole lot of other people, but I've told this story a zillion times, and I'm not going to go into the details, but my character, my abilities, what I do, I've been doing it since picking teams on the playground when I was 7, I mean, just all through my life. That's just, it's just been me. Now, have I been able to get better at it and hone my skills and be more, all the things that a good leader makes a good leader. Yeah, sure. But that was innate. I mean, there was nothing about that I was learned. It's just that deal. So you can learn these things.
I've known you long enough to know that the doctor probably came to your parents at your birth and said, "You've given birth to an 8-pound baby leader."
Yeah. Well, I came right out of the chute telling the doctor what to do. Okay. So that's when it started, man. So anyway, yes, I think I'm going to agree with the Rev that they're both, that you can come with some natural ability to the table, but don't get scared away if that's not you. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. Because, if you can rise up and take on that responsibility because you want to, not because you have to, then you can learn. Right? Then you can learn.
For sure. And I think part of our journey could be learning who we were at a younger age. If you're at an older age at the moment, right? Mm-hmm. Or it doesn't even matter what age you're at, just prior to where you are now. I mean, I have found the same thing that you're talking about myself by just being in contact with people from my childhood or from high school or from other parts of my timeline, and then having them to share some information about me. I'm like, wow, okay, I was like that back then.
I didn't know that about me.
Yeah. I was like, I've always been this way. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's I remember having that realization one day. I was like, wow, I have always been the same way. Mm-hmm. Well, not that I haven't grown and transformed over the years, but the core, I think, of who I am. And I think probably most people are like this. This is are you born that way? Mm-hmm. You just have a propensity to be who you are.
And I think on the other side of this whole spectrum, you guys, I think, are natural leaders. I am leading a lot of people, but it is not natural. Mm-hmm. It is cultivated. It's been one stretch, one banging knees, one shaking hands, a moment after another to cultivate it. I was shy. I was withdrawn. I didn't want to speak. I didn't want to be in front of people. Let me be in the back. Yeah. And the universe just said, no, you're going to be a leader. So I've kind of represented a little bit different.
Yeah. Well, you're right. It comes with a curse and a blessing. I'm going to kind of use those words loosely, but your particular journey, Rev, caused you to have to seek some things and some strengths that were outside of you.
Yeah, and were those strengths always there that I just had to discover them?
Right.
You guys just, maybe it's your second rodeo. You're back in reincarnation or something. This is my first. I don't know, but I had to find things I didn't know existed.
Yeah.
And I'm really grateful for the leaders that saw those things in me and called them out.
Well, there you go.
And I think it makes me a better leader because I'm sensitive to those people.
Right.
Those shy, introverted people. I know how to be with them in a way that's safe.
There it is. Yeah, that's the OJT right there, right? So, well, and there's what I'm talking about. There's the two sides in the Rev story, and in my story, because I gravitate naturally to, okay, pick that up right there, and go over there with it, and okay, you sit here and you do that, and I need you to do this. I mean, it comes really natural for me to just sort of take on that mantra, and I have had to learn, and I'm still learning how to be more sensitive to others, in that. And we're going to talk about some of those characteristics today that will help, that leaders can help others in lots of different ways. But that's been a challenge for me just to say, oh man, this is the right, but let's go. Come on, let's just do it.
Get her done.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's both ways. It can be good and can be bad. I guess what I'm meaning is we can all learn, even if you come out natural. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
And we're going to talk a little bit more. Let's talk. This is a different concept. Maybe you haven't even thought about it. How do you lead yourself? What does that look like? Did you ever think maybe that you have a responsibility to lead yourself? I mean, we think about leading out there, the job, the people, the team, the this, the that. Mm-hmm. But what about you for you?
Well, that's just, this whole podcast is about that. Go to the edge and have an original thought. Think something you haven't heard before.
Right.
Don't be a follower. Question those ideas. And a lot of people just tell me what the truth is and I'll just be a follower.
Right.
And I think this whole podcast is designed to help you just think the environment of what's going on the inside.
Yeah.
Just play with the thought. Wrestle with the thought. Sit with it for a while. Am I leading that thought or is it leading me? Am I leading the story of my life, or is my past leading me? Big questions to ask.
Yeah.
Oh, I totally agree with Rev. I mean, this us being on this podcast is us leading ourselves to something better. And I think people that listen to it are leading themselves to something different, something better. You know, they're exploring, they're on the journey.
Right. Well, there
That's leading yourself right there.
You have to be willing to, right? We talk about all the time, think differently, go to those, go to the shatter the norms, right? Think the unthinkable. Yeah, we do. You're right.
Just listen to the tape that's going on in your head.
Yeah.
What is playing over and over in my head? No, I'm going to choose to lead it a different direction.
Right.
Choose to lead it in a different direction. There's some leading
lead myself in a different direction.
I love that. I mean, we can, we can squeeze this in all sorts of different places, can't we?
Lead those thoughts down a different path.
Is it possible that everybody is leading themselves and they just either conscious to it or not?
Yeah, I'd say it's probable. Mm-hmm. You said possible. I'm like, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
right. And is it by just default? All right. Are you carried along with the wave, or are you actively working at that and all the different components that are part of it? Right.
Well, just for a moment, let's go with what the Rev said. You're leading your thoughts. Like you are doing this, and people do this every day. Where are you leading your thoughts to? That's part of this.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, sure.
And I've told the story before how when my daughter would do this when she was younger, and I would say, okay, none of these things have happened yet. You're leading yourself to down an unfortunate path. If you're going to do this, why not make it like fun and good and joyful and all these great things happen, right? And I think as just human beings, we tend to do this to ourselves,
right?
So what does that mean? Yeah. That you're taking yourself down that path. I think people deserve. I think people out there, all you roguers out there, you deserve better. Your thoughts can go down a different path. So here's the thing: if you're walking down that path, that meaning, let's say, a path that's towards a story you don't want, you can always change direction.
That's right. Change the story.
Yeah.
This is where I look at Jesus.
You can change direction.
This whole idea, Jesus talks about turning the other cheek. I'm just going to look a different direction.
Yeah.
I'm leading with where I'm looking at, what I'm listening to, where I'm hanging out. That's a leadership quality. So I can just turn the direction and go over here.
Right.
I don't choose that anymore.
That's kind of an aha moment there. I don't think I thought that way, certainly my whole life by any means. So hopefully that's a little nugget all of you out there can kind of grasp onto, because that's a mic drop moment right there, gang. We're not going to drop the mic yet, but
we can.
Yeah, go home. Right? Yeah, let's go to the bar. Yeah, let's
after we're done using it.
All right. So, are leaders born or are they made? How do you lead yourself? How about this? Do you have the courage? And it does take courage to follow.
Yeah. Yes. I'm this person. I do. I can do this. I can lead. I certainly have done it, especially, being a head coach. I can lead, but I love it when others, I can have my assistant coaches lead a practice and I can follow them. And it's easy for me.
That makes you a better leader. It makes you a better coach.
Well, thank you. Thank you. But to me, I enjoy it.
Well, I'm just going to say you get joy out of it too.
Yeah. I enjoy it. And I learn. I mean, I don't sit there and pretend I know everything.
Right.
Right. But I mean, I learn when that happens. I'm like, wow, I didn't think about showing it that way. And okay.
Right.
That makes sense.
That takes a lot of humility, but I think that's a necessary quality for really effective, good leadership.
Yep.
So maybe we say, do you have the courage and humility to follow?
That'd be a good little injection.
Humility takes courage.
Yeah,
it does.
For sure, man.
I've got to give up control for just a minute here.
Yeah. Well, I believe I've been there, done that, and not done it well sometimes too.
That's a good point. I think part of this is giving up control, because you may have a certain way you want to do it.
Yep.
Right? You're thinking, okay, in your head, this is how this is going to go down. But if you have the courage to let that go for a moment and see if there's another way.
Well, some things can happen. The people you're leading might fail. But that's the very lesson that they needed to get to the idea within their own self. And you also open yourself up to the idea, wow, I didn't think to do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
There's a better idea than the one I had.
So to quote another episode on the Wise Guys podcast, we've got to move from plan A to plan B.
Yeah, I was just thinking that, okay? Oh, man.
It's another good
plan
Rev
B is
nugget.
screaming, put me in, coach, put me in.
I'm going to start, I'm going to start looking at that whole thing differently to say, here's plan A, but wait till you hear plan B, okay?
Right.
And sometimes plan B is plan B. I'm just going to be, and I'm going to allow and
Just
control.
Not just a B, but
I like
B.
that.
Oh, I like that too. That's really, wait.
Oh man, we are what's happening?
There's a meme there.
Yeah,
Okay.
there is
B
a
and
meme.
B. I'm going to figure out something there. Okay.
What's the buzz? Tell me
Yeah,
what's happening.
I got it.
What's the buzz?
What's the buzz? Oh, God.
The Rev's got jokes.
All right,
He's got
let's drop
jokes.
the mic now. Okay. But it takes courage to follow. It really does.
Mhm.
And you will be a better leader as you learn to be a better follower. Whether you have a boss or you don't, are you following your thoughts? Are you following the new stuff? Are you follow? Okay. So just, we could do a whole episode on that, I think.
Following Jesus.
There was
Yeah,
a meme somewhere
right,
I saw on
let's
Facebook
follow
that
Jesus.
said, excuse me, I must leave now because those people over there are my people and they're leaving. I have to go follow them.
Okay. We were having a great conversation. What's the problem? So have the courage to follow. And we're, I guess, leading. We've already been kind of around this a lot. So I'm just going to succinctly put it as you got to lead your mind and your heart in the right direction. It takes thinking, right? I mean, we think, we have thoughts. So we need to lead those thoughts in the right direction. We need to lead our heart in the right direction. Our countenance, our spirit. There's lots of little components to go into that, right? That we need to be leaning in the right direction as we go.
What is the we that's leading your head and your heart? What is the we? I would say it is the spirit.
Yeah.
Just get in touch with that spirit. It's going to lead your thinking and your feeling nature.
I love that. Yes.
I like that.
We're all over that.
Can I quote the Rev?
Oh, absolutely.
Follow your heart, but take your mind with you.
Exactly. Oh, God. I'm in a movement where it's all about just what does the heart tell you to do, and the emotions get you in big trouble. For God's sake, take your brain.
Rev, please know I've been listening.
Yeah. Wow. That's such great advice. I'm telling you, because sometimes, and we've talked about it maybe in a religious standpoint, you get into sort of a comfortable, environment where everybody's thinking the same thing and everybody's doing the same thing. But it's not just, isolated to a church or to a religion. I mean, think about yourself at work. Just analyze you and your environment and your work, right?
Yeah.
Have you had the courage to lead in a way that, your heart tells you, your spirit tells you, here's the thing. If you keep having that tendency, it keeps bubbling up in you, it keeps boiling up in you, and it constantly keeps being pushed down. Whether you push it down or the people, your superiors push it down, your peers push it down, then I think you got to come to a decision to say, I got to keep at it. I'm not going to give up, and I'm going to be courageous in this. Or you know what? That's just not the environment for me to be all that I can. I don't know, all I can be. All right, but to let you flourish. I don't know.
This is where you got to use your muscles. Push it back up. Come on, get it up there. Push it. Push it up. Use those muscles.
Yeah. We probably ought to put a link in this show episode of Coach Stu doing his powerlifting, man. I mean, in his sniglet. Okay.
Yeah.
It would be awesome. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
fun times.
So there you go. All right. So there's some just being courageous. How are some components of courageous leadership? And I just want to hit really quickly before we move along that you do realize, and you probably experience this, whether it's been in yourself or whether it's been, again, in others, there is bad leadership. And we all know this. We've all experienced it. Maybe some of us have done it. We've just led in a bad way. All right. And so, I'm just categorizing a couple of things, but you could probably make a list of 20 things if you wanted to. Bad leadership comes with being ineffective. Mm-hmm. Now, you can be sincere, you can be a great person, all this other kinds of stuff, but if you don't learn to lead effectively, then that's bad leadership.
What's that? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. If the team isn't following you, you are ineffective, no matter how good you think your tactics are.
Right. Yeah. You can't be a one-man band, okay? You're not going to be a leader.
Do it my way or the highway.
Yeah.
It's not working.
I've seen this type of thing manifest with not being trusting. Right? Or how about this phrase that people might say in their heads that are leading other people? Well, I know I can do it better.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to do it.
Right.
Or I'll tell them I want them to do it, but then I'm going to change it.
Well, that's
right.
Yeah. If you want anything done right, you got to do it yourself.
That's not effective leadership. That's ineffective leadership.
I was telling you guys earlier, I was told in seminary by a really smart teacher, are you leading a team in order to empower your dream, or are you there to empower their dreams? And I tell you, if I can do it better, you're just all about your own dream. You're not about building the muscles that anybody needs on your team.
Right.
Their discovery, their awakening, their becoming is as important as your own.
Right. And here's the thing. That's a really good point. Sometimes we're taught that it's all about them. Okay.
It's got to be balanced.
And so, you have to, you almost need to just get out of the picture because you're a leader and you're going to, don't be overbearing. Don't be all these other kinds of things. And what happens is you shrink, in the whole thing if you're not careful.
Yeah. I think it was Lao Tzu who said something to the effect that the best leader is the one at the end of the accomplishment. Everybody says, look what we did.
Yes.
And you were part of the we.
We, exactly.
Not look what he did. It's look what we did. There's a collective.
Right.
And that makes my heart
There's
really
some
happy.
humility.
So there is a bit of disappearing in there.
Yeah.
But there's a greater expansiveness of the connection that's built.
Right. And share your wisdom, share your expertise, all those kinds of things. But again, you're sharing it in the collective, not lording it over somebody. Okay. So, all right. So bad leadership. We're going to get off that and just hitting a few high points. It certainly happens out there. So when it comes to courageous leadership, we think it's important for you to fundamentally and foundationally ask yourself the question, why am I doing this? What's my motivation? Why am I getting up every day and subjecting myself and whomever I might be leading to me? And to my, leadership, if you want to call it that, you got to hold it true. You got to keep it in front of you. And it needs to be, a passionate thing, something you're committed to, because that's going to be Stu talks about this all the time. He says, people are watching. People are watching.
Yes.
Right? And so if you're coming with less than 100% that you might expect out of somebody else, then they're looking at, everybody sees that, but you got to get grounded in your why am I doing this?
Is it enough of a why? I just want to be rich. Is that enough of a why? Or is there something underneath that? Or I just want to be the most successful person on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Is that enough? Or is that what the Buddhists call a hungry ghost? You're never going to make enough money. You're never going to be successful enough. You'll always be empty if that's your only motivation.
Right.
Well, if you're going to do that, you're on your own. If you're going to do that, like you're by yourself, and I guess you can get there on your own, but I think more people have better success in their lives with other. I think people help people to become more successful.
Yeah,
right? I love the win-win environment.
It's not just an individual.
I'm going to make more money, but I want you to make more money too. Right, is that a greater goal?
Uh-huh.
So by building other people up, right? Or is it helping them? But you might there might be some fruit off of that, maybe, right?
Yeah, and we understand. All three of us have been in enough environments where we're either been leaders or we've been led.
Right.
Where some of this stuff can sound kind of trite. It can sound kind of, well, yeah, that sounds good, in the seminar, right? Mm. But in reality, when the rubber hits the road, all right, I feel like if I help, one of my coworkers, maybe I'm not, or somebody that's underneath me, they're going to take my job, and all of that kind of the stories we tell ourselves, right? But the minute we go down that path, we hunker down to the me and not the we, like the guys you've been talking about here, the guys have been talking about.
Yeah.
And that's not courage. That doesn't take any courage, right? For me to be me and have it be all about me, it doesn't take any courage. That takes hubris, okay? So, it takes a lot more courage to enter in and have the humility that we're in this together and as a team, all right? And come what may, I just know in my own heart, if I'm helping you, then I'm doing what I need to be doing,
To me, good leaders that I've seen in my life, and I hope that on this, define success by how well the people do around them. Or the people that they're leading.
Right.
Are they lifting them up? And if they look at that as that's my success, I've helped you to accomplish the goals you want to accomplish, to live your best life.
I find
that to me is a good leader.
I find the leaders that don't do that are living in a constant state of competition, which is in a constant state of suffering, as the Buddhists would say. Competition is suffering. But cooperation and collaboration and co-creation, where everybody prospers, that's where heaven is on earth for me. Yeah. So you got all these supposedly successful leaders who are making money and successful, and they're miserable.
Yeah. Right. Oh, yeah. Well, we see those kinds of stories all the time. And, if you're thinking right now, if you're leading, or even if you're evaluating people that lead you, that a lot of what we're talking about is like, whoa, okay, yeah, but oh man, are you kidding me? I mean, there's so many dynamics in this and that and blah, blah, blah. Here's what we want to suggest, even at this point, because we're going to talk about this. Oh, by the way, this is just going to be part one, right? This is such a great topic that we talked about it, that we want to share a lot of stuff with you guys concerning this, because everybody lives in this place in some way, shape, or form. We're going to make an episode, next week. We're going to have part two. So just,
all right.
It's a lot of territory to cover, because I believe everybody listening to this podcast has a call. Yeah. Whether it's been spoken, whether it's been heard yet, there is a call to your leadership ability on earth.
Right.
To do something, to change something, to make something, to create something.
Yeah.
And that's why it's such an important quality.
I agree.
And I think we're all on earth to be leaders, not to be followers.
Right.
There's moments when you follow, but I think every single person who's listening to this podcast knows that there's something knocking at the door of their soul, and it's saying, there's more of you. Step up. Speak up.
Be courageous.
To your point, Rev, everybody is leading somebody, and it's not lost on me, being a coach of young athletes, what impact that I'm making on them.
Absolutely.
And so you can equate, if you're not a coach, that's fine. You might be somebody who has children.
That's right. You're a mom. You're a dad.
Or even if you don't, you might have younger siblings. Right. You might have nephews, nieces, cousins, just anybody, neighbors.
Yeah, volunteer work that you might be doing. I mean,
you are leading people, and again, people are watching, as you already said. So you're leading people. Right.
Yeah.
And so, to me, it's like, are you coming from a place of love and care, and you want them to live their best life in your leadership? Like that's kind of how I look at it. And again, I say it again, it's not lost on me, the things that I say and do with my team. And I remember when my father was still alive, I would call him driving home from practice, and I'd be like, Dad, I think I just screwed this kid up. And I was really concerned about it. And so we talked it out, and then, come up with like something for me to go do that help it be better for me in my mind. Now, when I went back to that person, it wasn't even it was me going down, leading myself down the path.
Stories you tell yourself.
Right. Stories you tell yourself. So, but I mean, it got me in a conversation to better myself.
Sure.
I could become a better leader.
Right.
What a great leadership quality, to be humble again, humbleness again, to go, I messed it up, but tomorrow I can do it better.
Right.
Those are effective leaders.
And then people are watching. And that's what you want to cultivate. You're mentoring without officially mentoring, right? Oh, he's my mentor. No. All right. We're just in this thing together, and I'm watching. Yeah, I'm watching.
There's 10 people in the stands watching you coach.
Yeah.
You're never going to coach. They're not on your team, but they're watching you.
Sure.
You are a leader. And everybody listening to this podcast is being watched by people who go, I like what I see.
You know, and I'm fortunate enough to have had those people come and talk to me. So, and again, that's not lost on me. And that's where a lot of this, you know, you're always, you know, people are watching came from, because I was like, wow, like I don't even know this person, but I thank them for sharing with me, because think about like how infrequent that may happen. And I would encourage people, like, to me, another good sign of leadership is to do this.
Yeah.
Like when you think something about somebody, especially when it's good, go tell them.
It.
It doesn't matter if you know them or not.
Be a good leader.
Everybody did talk to me. I did not know at the moment they told me about it. Now I know them and we're friends and we talk, but go tell them.
Right. Make the call. Write the note. Just go have the conversation. And I see you as a leader. You've made my life a better place.
Absolutely. So
I believe that could heal a whole lot of division on this planet.
Kind of brings up sort of the last point we want to bring up before we take a break. And that's this idea that is out there in the ether that we've probably heard this a zillion times. It's lonely at the top. Right? I mean, it's just lonely at the top.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm going to say turn your other cheek and have a different thought.
BS, right? Yeah. Yeah. Well, if it is, then there's a problem. Okay.
I think this, you know, when I read this, what I wrote down was that's the wrong perspective. Because you should never feel like, to me, being a courageous leader you're not alone.
Right. Right.
You're amongst the people.
Right.
But there is a choice there. If I'm choosing to be alone, choosing to create loneliness, well, that's the thought I'm leading, and I'm going to have that experience.
Right. Well, if you haven't planted the right seeds, if you haven't cultivated, your team or the people that you are leading, right, then it's very difficult too for you to feel vulnerable enough and safe enough. Now, whose problem is this? It's yours. But the point is, it's self-serving. It just works in a circle where you haven't created the safe environment for you to not be lonely. So I mean, the onus still is on you, quite frankly, to help your people cultivate this and bring it out and them to feel safe, right? So it's not lonely, and don't be lonely. Don't think that's even the case. So with that, we're gonna take a deep breath. This is such a great topic. We could sit here and talk about it all night, but we're gonna take a little break, and then we're gonna be right back. So just stay with us.
Like what you hear so far? Join us in the Rogue Nation by going to our website, gorogue.life. where you will find links to our social media and podcast channels and a way to subscribe to all our happenings. We encourage you to become a member of our cafe, where you can interact with us and fellow roguers and keep the conversation going. Please share us and like us. Now, let's get back to our Wise Guys.
All right, welcome back to the Wise Guys, where this episode, we are talking about leadership, but not just leadership. We're talking about how to try to do leadership courageously. And what does it take? What kind of courage does it take to be, I'm going to use the word effective leader, but maybe there's a better word there. Whatever it might be.
An inspired leader.
Yeah, inspired leader. There it is. You just gave me the lead in right here, didn't you?
There you go, sir.
It just handed me that one on a platter. Okay. So there it is. So what can we do? Here, let me just make this statement, as I've experienced in my life. You can lead courageously as you enlist the power of inspiration. Mm-hmm. Inspiration over, not exclusive to, but inspiration over information.
Mm-hmm. This is what we talked about previously. It's head leadership or spirit. Spirit has got to be in that word of inspiration somewhere. Yep. It's dropping down to something greater than your thoughts and your emotions. And it's coming from a place that's powerful, more powerful than you as an individual. Pick up on that power, because it is extremely powerful when you can just say, man, this is so awesome, and here's why. And they see it on your face. They see it in your eyes. It's zeal. It's joy. It's
you're committed, man. You're going. Okay. I mean, I can say that I have experienced that many times, in my life, and it's just so fulfilling.
And when I tap into that place, I've got more courage than Richard, the introvert. Richard, the shy guy. It's like, I don't know where this is coming from. I'm stepping out. And it's not me. It's something greater than me.
Yeah. And that's what you want it to be.
Yeah.
Right? Because I've said this a zillion times over the years. If you do what you're capable of doing, then you've created a finite environment that is only going to be as good as you.
One of the things that when I'm interviewing people, which I haven't done in a long time, but one of the questions I like to ask is, and so this is for business interviewing, like not for anything else, is tell me something that you're passionate about. And then I tell them, and it better not be something related to this job, because then I'll know you're lying. And so here's the thing.
Love that.
When people are honest with me, and they talk about something they're passionate about, like I know, and you will know.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
They're talking passionately.
They light up.
Yeah, they light up, and they are inspired, and it's exciting.
Sure.
Imagine what kind of world we'd be living in if Martin Luther King Jr. got up to the microphone and said, I have a dream. I have a dream. He had to have the zeal and the passion there to really be excited about it.
True enough. God. All right.
Yeah.
So,
but and I encourage people to be that way, right? Like your passions are okay. I mean, I guarantee you there's other people that may have the same exact passion.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And here's the thing. You cannot fake this.
Right.
So giving, more inspiration is being honest with what you're passionate about,
Yes.
And
I think that's
it
when
without apology. Own your passion without an apology.
Right.
Whether somebody understands you, your parent understands your passion, too bad. They don't have to, because the Holy Spirit of your soul understands. Let it out. Let me out.
Right.
As you said earlier, quit pushing it down. It wants to be birthed through you.
Correct. And when you do that, you are gonna inspire yourself. All right.
Yeah.
There's a power of inspiration to others, but you're going to inspire yourself. The can-do attitude, all the things that, especially the Rev has been talking about, is him being an introvert and stepping out and having the courage. All right. But here's what comes with that as well that I've also experienced. I can get super excited about something. I can bring some people along with me, and we're in it together, and we're moving. And it falls freaking flat on its face. Okay. And now all of a sudden, you're out there, you're on the line, people are looking to you going, well, what's the deal here? You let us down this path, right? What's going on? And if you don't have the confidence to say, hey, it's like the light bulb. I just found out one more way we don't need to do it.
I'm passionate about making mistakes and learning.
Right. But here's the thing again, I keep saying this. If you haven't cultivated within your team this attitude and the countenance to say, oh, well, okay, let's do something else. Okay. And they're going to play the blame game. Okay. It's way too easy for them to play the blame game because it's all now on you. All right. So again, there's all kinds of things going on here behind the scenes that we're not doing a leadership seminar here. All right. But you need to be aware that a lot of this stuff that happens is because you haven't set the right expectations. You haven't encouraged the team in the right way. You haven't given clear instructions, all these kinds of things that help people go, I'm in. Come on, let's just go do it.
Passion has to have a sister.
Yeah.
Planning.
Yeah. There you go.
It's left and right brain. It's heart and head. It's a partnership. It's a holistic approach to my leadership.
I love it.
Passion alone will not work.
No. And the one thing that these guys encourage me in, last little point we're going to make, and that's this. If you're going to inspire, make it fun.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Just one of the most important things that I've found, without getting technical, without reading a bullet list, without, all the heady kind of stuff that you can go for in this kind of thing. Hey, I tell you what, gang, let's go have some fun.
So I'm reading a book on longevity right now, right? Because I'm interested in and it's not about what you should take, like what pill, what food do you eat, and things like that. It's about making choices in your life so that you never get to the point where your mind and your body are aging, right? So with that being said, you know what the key is to longevity?
I bet.
Laughter and joy.
Smile.
Yep. Seriously, laughter
true.
and joy is one of the keys, besides being with people, which leads to laughter and joy. Right?
Yes.
No, it's no accident that studies show that the people who live the longest are the ones that are in the countries that continually rate at the high of happiness.
Yeah.
Those countries that are happiest, they're the healthiest.
Oh, well, it's so holistic. And once we start to grab that truth as well, right? So,
but you're right. Make it fun.
That's right. Have fun like we do every week. And so this has been so good. I want to keep going with the other stuff that we know we want to talk about. But you'll just have to wait, gang, until next episode, and we will sprinkle some more of this courage out there. So, guys, it's been great, but as always, we need to be sensitive to where we're going, right?
Here we go. Top out on that wing. Jump
Your
off
mission,
that cliff.
Should you decide to accept it? Number one is decide to think differently. Nothing's going to change, like the Rev said. You keep doing the same old Einstein thing, right? Think differently. And then, guess what? Go find some people that are thinking differently, too. All right? That's why I love these guys.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Because this is us. All right? It's just so cool. All right? And then you got to strap on the armor. And again, the armor is what you know to be true. That you ground yourself in these concepts and these, just ideas that you want to share, but that are right, okay? And once you have all that kind of together, you and the gang and the barbarian horde, right?
Wait a minute.
You storm the gates, man. You storm the gates of what's not that, what is still holding people back, what is still, you want to open up their consciousness and help them see things as well as yourself. This isn't all about them out there. This is about you as well, for sure. So you storm the gates of all of that apathy and that indecision. And once all those little pieces are together, man, you guys are all in a line. Okay, here we go. Charge. It's like freedom, right?
Freedom.
Yeah, okay. Then you unleash the unthinkable, and that's exactly what's going to happen. And you had better hang on for the ride of your life there. So we would encourage you in that. That's the mission that we have. It was always as we go through life. And I thank my guys. I thank my guys in this episode.
Me too.
Very
Thank you
fun.
Guys, yeah.
Thanks for your leadership to me. And I think we do that to each other, and it's really great. Hopefully you've been able to get some goodies out of this as well. So come back next week, and we'll keep this on going. So thanks for listening.
Yep.
We appreciate it. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.